Welcome to Colombia! Today I'm going to present you the Bogota Travel Guide. It will be a long video, but there are many topics to cover. Also, if you want to find more detailed information, you will find that travel guide if you go to the search engine and you type in Pelecanos Bogota Travel Guide, and you will find it right away. Today we are hosted by the Graffiti Hostel, a very beautiful hostel in the middle of La Candelaria. You found graffiti all over on every wall and it's just beautiful. And I'm here in the living room, which is very bright because there's a glass ceiling and very comfortable, and coffee is also very good. Welcome to my channel. My name is Frank. I'm Swiss and I run a travel agency here in Bogota. So let's start with Bogota. Bogota is the capital of Colombia, and not just the political center but also the economic center of the country, and it's situated in the middle of Colombia. It's on 2,650 meters above sea level, which is 8,600 feet. And it was founded in 1538 by the Spaniards conquering Colombia. But before, it was already inhabited by the Pre-Muiscas, already 18,000 years before that. Bogota has an area of 1,775 square kilometers or 685 square miles. It's very big. It's actually double the size of Singapore. Most of the tourist attractions you find here in the historic center, La Candelaria. And the city center here was actually once the domicile of the rich and powerful, but in the mid-60s there were some riots and all the rich ones escaped up north. And the Candelaria is recovering, and I think in some years the rich and powerful will come back because the quality of living is great and it's just beautiful. In La Candelaria, you also find most of the prestigious universities of Bogota. That means especially on Friday nights, it's very crowded with many students drinking and partying and dancing all around. Also, you find the most sightseeing attractions very close to the city center. So let's start and see what we can offer here in Bogota. I will start with the tours. There are actually some cool free tours. Because we're in the Graffiti Hostel, we started the Graffiti Tour. It's for free, it's tip-based, and it starts every day at 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. It starts at the Plaza de los Periodistas. It's right outside La Candelaria, and it's usually held in English. Bring some weatherproof clothes or an umbrella because they do it. It doesn't matter if it hails or the sun shines, and it's for free. It's a great tour. It's not just about graffiti and street art. It tells you a lot about the history of Colombia, its violence, and it's an awesome tour. I loved it a lot. Then you have the free walking tour. That one also starts at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and it starts in the Plaza Santander, right in front of the Gold Museum, also in English. And you walk through La Candelaria and they tell you a lot about history, about architecture, about everything. It's also a great tour, walking around La Candelaria, awesome. Then you have the Bogota bike tour, which is awesome. I made it by myself, but my dad, who is 70, he made it and he loved it because on the bike you're very fast from point A to point B and you can cover a lot in little time. And let's see, every day at 10:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. and it starts at the Bogota bike tours. So the Bogota bike tour is about 4 hours and costs 40,000 pesos. Then what to see inside the city of Bogota? Because you have inside and outside, and there's so much to see in and around Bogota. It's unbelievable. So first of all, we have the iconic house mountain, which is called Monserrate. If you don't want to encounter any beggars or creepy people, you also can take a taxi. If you want to walk, you just go to that little river in Plaza de las Peredizas. You follow the river all the way up to the University Los Andes, and just all the way up, and you see it from far. It's very easy to get there. There you have two cable cars getting up and down the mountain, but there's also a trail which takes between 45 and 90 minutes to get up there. You have a perfect view, you can take selfies, you can walk around a little bit. You also have good restaurants to have lunch up there, and it's a must. When you come to Bogota, you need to get up there. Then, of course, we have the historic town, La Candelaria, which is the heart of the city center with its beautiful historic buildings. You can walk around yourself, find tea shops, coffee shops. You can buy handcraft stuff. There's so much to see, to discover, and to find. And you easily can spend some hours strolling around and enjoying that beautiful part of the town. Then you have the Gold Museum, which is probably the most important and most famous museum of Colombia. It shows many stuff of the ancient times, of the Muiscas, of the pre-Columbian area. So it's only free on Sunday, but I think it's like 3,000 pesos they charge during the week, so it's not a lot. And it's a great museum. Also, if you're not a big fan of museum, you should go check it out. And especially if you want to combine it with a visit to Laguna La Guatavita, it's a must because it's a combined story. Then you can go to the Botero Museum. Botero is the artist, the most famous of Colombia, and he makes all those sculptures and paintings of these chubby women, chubby men, chubby animals, famous all over the world. And what he did actually, he became so rich. And when he was in Europe, he was buying so much art from like old masters. So when you go to the Botero Museum here in Bogota or even in Medellin, you find like the big masters in arts, paintings from Van Gogh, and you find Picasso, and very beautiful, awesome museum. It's from the Banco de República, the National Bank. And it's a beautiful museum. It's right in the middle of La Candelaria. You should go. And that one is actually for free. Then you can go to the National Museum, which is at the bottom of La Macarena. It's like a 10 minutes taxi drive from La Candelaria. And this is a former prison. Can you imagine? It was a prison and today it's a museum. It's a beautiful old building. So what can you expect in the National Museum? Of course, the history of Colombia, and then you also have some changing exhibitions, and you should go. It's beautiful. If you're interested in museum, it's very nice. Then you have different marketplaces where you should go and try the food, the fruits, and see what is growing in Colombia, because this is incredible. I didn't believe it myself when I saw it myself for the first time. So there is Palo Quemao, which is the most famous one. It's on Calle 19. If you're a backpacker and you want to take the bus, it's no problem. You could just go to the 19th, and then you have lots of buses and colectivos which drive to Palo Quemao, or you take a taxi and it takes you there in 10-15 minutes. It's very close from the city center, and you should go there because there you can try food and eat fruits, have lunch, and it's a great place. You also have other markets closer, for example, in La Macarena, the market La Perseverancia, and it has actually the best food court in Bogota. You can get food from all over Colombia and very cheap for 5, 6, 7,000 pesos. Lunch, awesome, and also you have all the fruits. Also here in La Candelaria, you have a little market on the Plaza La Concordia. You have a marketplace and you have like 5 or 6 different restaurants where you can have lunch, a soup, main dish, and a juice for like 6 or 7,000 pesos, which is $2, nothing. Great place to discover. Then we have many different parks in Bogota. I will just mention that the biggest one is Parque Simón Bolívar. It's bigger than the Central Park in New York, and especially in weekends, people play football. It's good with them, with the bike. You can go with the boat on the lagoon, on the little lake they have. There's lots of activities, and Colombians love to hang out on the weekends in the parks. And great place. If you want to go to a more upscale park, I recommend you to go to Parque 93, and then you will see the upper class Colombians, mostly with their dogs or running. Also around that park you have some good restaurants, and it's very close to the Zona T. And then the Botanical Garden, which is awesome. This I really recommend you to visit. It's a bit further from the city center, but it's worth a visit. It's huge and you see a lot. Then another activities like ciclovia on Sundays and public holidays from morning at 6:30 until 2 p.m. Main roads are closed for traffic and open for bikes, for inline skating, for running, for the public. And this is a great activity to enjoy, and you should do it. If you're coming to Colombia, check it out. You not only have it in Bogota, you also have it in other cities in Colombia. Then what you also can visit here in Bogota is Usaquén. It's on Calle 120, more or less. Usaquén was once a little, very beautiful village, but with Bogota growing and growing, it just got swollen up. And now it's a part of the city, but it's great. You have many restaurants, you have many bars, you have a central square, a little park. And especially on Sundays, it's a perfect place to just chill. You can go to the flea market. It's a great place. I love Usaquén a lot. To me, it's a little far away because it takes me usually an hour for just 10 kilometers. Then on Sundays, you have the flea markets. You have here in the city center, you have 3 different flea markets, and also in Usaquén, you have the flea market where you can visit. And then something iconic, if you're a football fan, Colombians are crazy about football. So if you're coming to Colombia, you should check if there is a football game. Even better if the national team is playing, and then you should go and join the game. Also a league game. You have different teams here just from Bogota, and it's also a big event. A very great experience. Good ambience though. Then outside the city, there is also so much to offer. You can go, for example, to La Chorrera, which is the tallest waterfall in Colombia, they say at least. It's very easy to get there. I prefer a private driver, or I have a car actually, I go by a car. But you also can go by bus. You find further descriptions of how to get to those sites and where they are. We have the Google Maps links on all the sites. Just go to your search engine and type Pelecanus Bogotá Travel Guide, and you will get it right away to the document. So La Chorrera, it's an awesome place, and you have a little hike. You go to the first station, you have waterfall and a natural pool where you actually can swim, but it's freezing cold. And then you can go further to the next station where you also have waterfall, can take pictures. It's a great activity outside Bogota if you love nature and you like walking. Then we have the Souls Cathedral of Zipaquirá. This is one of the wonders of Colombia which you need to visit. It's very easy getting there. If you're a backpacker, just go by Transmilenio to Portal Norte, and there you have buses to Zipaquirá. If you have a little budget, I recommend you taking an organized tour with your guide and your driver. It's much more comfortable, and it's a half-day tour. You do Zipaquirá, and the cathedral they built within an active salt mine. It's just unbelievable. It's pressing, and just do it. And we have another video about Zipaquirá where you see more. Laguna de Guatavita. This is actually the heart of the story of El Dorado, the gold rush of Colombia. Everybody went there. They almost destroyed the lagoon with dynamite to get a hole into it, that the water flows out, that they have access to all the treasures. Today you can visit it. It's organized tour, Spanish-speaking guides. If you're not Spanish-speaking, you should actually get the English-speaking guide because there's lots of precious information. It's very interesting in terms of the history of the Muiscas and the indigenous. They still use it, the lagoon, and it's a beautiful place. It's wet, it's high, so it's cold. Bring an umbrella or a waterproof jacket. And also one of my favorite places, Laguna de Guatavita, a very great plan. Then on weekends, Fridays and Saturdays, the wildest party in Latin America, Andrés Carne de Res. If you like big steaks and drinking and dancing and partying, that's a place for you. It's about 1 hour outside Bogota in Chía, and this is like the wildest place you've ever seen. So the usual plan is it's a big restaurant and it has about space for 2,000 people, but its quality is good. So you have great beef and you drink beer or wine, and then you have music and dance floor everywhere, and it's just a huge party. I think they close around 3, and then outside they give you soup and arepas. I recommend you taking a room there in Chía or having organized transport that brings you back as soon as you want. Because looking for a transport over there, it's possible, but 2,000 people in one place, it can become a bit difficult. So it's good being organized in advance. Then we have one of the big national parks in Colombia. It's called Chingaza. It's Páramo, those plants who can store more than 100 times or 1,000 times of their weight, which are actually responsible for the whole water supply in the country. And it's great for bird watching, it's great for hiking, and by car it's like 2 hours away. And you have a building up there within the park, which is good. There is also possibility to camp. Then we have Suezca. Suezca is great for climbing. We went there with the company, and it's a huge rock formation in the middle of somewhere, and it's great for climbing, and not much more to say. Many people, they want to escape from Bogota, at least for one day, to get some more heat, because Bogota sometimes gets very cold. Most Colombians, they go south, but exit to the south is terrible, lots of traffic. So I prefer to go west. And you have a town which is called Villeta, which is beautiful. It's a great destination. Climate is wonderful. It's like 25 degrees, between 25 and 30 degrees. And you can stroll around and you have good nature around. So instead of going to the south with the terrible traffic and also the hot destinations to the south, those are the most mosquito polluted areas in Colombia. That's why I don't like it. So Villeta, that could be something for you. Then you can go to north, Villa de Leyva, which is one of the heritage towns of Colombia. It's very touristically, it's very beautiful. You have nice activities to do around. It's approximately 4 hours by car. You also can take the bus. If you're a backpacker, you go again, Transmilenio, Portal Norte, and then you cross the highway, and there you have different buses waiting, and they bring you to Villa de Leyva. Playing golf in Bogota. There are different golf courts in Bogota, and you have them all over the place. And as an individual, it's a bit difficult to access them. So if you want to have access and play golf, best is you drop me a note and I will help you with that. Accommodation in Bogota. In La Candelaria, the historic center of the city, you have most of the hostels. You have actually 2 or 3 good hotels, which I recommend to my clients, and then you have many average hotels. If you are more of a luxury client, you might be staying in the Four Seasons, which is in the Zona G or Zona T, or the Sofitel. And there is also the Click Clack Hotel, which I find really cool, close to Zona T. You will find more details on all my recommended accommodations in the blog. Where to drink a coffee here in Bogota? Very important topic. Colombia's coffee. Coffee is Colombia. I have some good recommendations, but giving you here the address, I think that might be difficult. Check the blog, and there we have the Google Maps link and also the exact address, and there you can have a great coffee. You also have coffee tasting, and what more to say? If you come to Colombia, you should try coffee. Nightlife in Bogota. Bogota is for sure the most vibrant city in Colombia, and nightlife is great. But where to go out? On weekends in La Candelaria, there is like more party for students, drinking on the street and crappy bars, and you have La Candelaria, a club which is quite good, but it's not the center of nightlife of Bogota. The center of nightlife is Zona T, or called Zona Rosa. You have so many clubs and bars. It's really great place. I don't need to give you some names. You just go there and you will find your way. Also, you can go to Chapinero. There you have Teatron, the biggest gay club in South America, which is also awesome. You have also electronic music, for example, Baum. Baum is the German word for tree. And this is in La Macarena, very close to the city center. And yeah, I would say nightlife is everything between Usaquén, like Calle 120, and Candelaria. But most density you have in the Zona T. Then we have the different neighborhoods here in Bogota. You have La Candelaria, and although it is the most touristic place, it's funny that most foreigners who live actually here in Bogota do not live in La Candelaria. I know only a few. Most of them, they like more living in big buildings, a bit more modern, with, which is more clean and has a higher standard of living. So La Candelaria, you have mostly Colombians living here, you have students, you have artists. It's a bit avant-garde, and maybe that's why I like it so much. You can go to La Macarena. You have already more foreigners, and you have lots of restaurants, which is great. Then you have Chapinero, which you have all the gay scene with their coffees and clubs, and many live there. You have Chapinero Alto, which has a high quality of living, and many foreigners live there. And then also Parque 93, like Park 93. You have many foreigners, and around Usaquén, also a very expensive area. And then I have some friends, they even live in Calle 140. I always make fun of them because I say, yeah, you live on the countryside. But no, Bogota goes up to street 250 or 300?
Almost 300.
Almost 300, yeah. But that's 250 is already so far away. I would never live there, but some people like it there. But you know, it's like up north, everything, most people live in conjuntos. That means they have guarded little towns. You have a fence, and then you have an entrance and control, and you have big buildings. And this is how people live in the north. Very protected, very secure. And that has its reason because of the history of Colombia. So where should you actually stay as a tourist? That depends a lot on your agenda. If you're very interested in sightseeing and history and culture, you should stay here in La Candelaria. You have a wide choice. Not high-end luxury, but between hostel and good hotels you have everything. In the night, I have to tell you, it can become a bit creepy, because the streets become empty, all the shops close, there are not too many restaurants open in the evening, because here is the government, here is commercial, and in the evening everything closes. So there is still some stuff open, but it gets quite deserted in the evening. And you also have the people living on the street, they're actually homeless. But If you're scared easily, and you want to go out in the night, that's probably not it's maybe not La Candelaria where you want to stay. You can stay, for example, in Chapinero or Zona G. In Zona G you have the Four Seasons, Casa Medina, which is probably the best hotel here in Bogota. Or you stay in Zona T, Zona Rosa. There are many hotels, and then you have the nightlife right in front of you to go out. Also, you can stay near Usaquén, but coming to La Candelaria from Usaquén, it can take you up to over an hour because traffic is the worst in the world in Bogota. Sundays in Bogota. Sunday is the absolute family day in Colombia, so you can go to the Ciclovia, you can go to the different flea markets, but I would say after 3 or 4 o'clock, all the shops close, not the big shopping centers, but the restaurants, most of them close, and Sunday evening, there's actually not much to do. So if you're looking for nightlife or party or whatever to do, Sunday afternoon and evening can be quite a challenge. If you need some people around you, go to a shopping mall. You always find people there. Where to eat in Bogota? There are so many options. You can eat in the city center for 6,000–7,000. You can go to gourmet restaurants. You can go to crepes and waffles, which is very famous. But you also have like very, very gourmet restaurants for Europeans, not expensive. For Colombians, yes. You have, for example, Leo. It's very close to La Candelaria. She was just included in the top 50 restaurants of the world lately. The restaurants of Harry Sazon, which is one of the most famous chefs here in Colombia. If you staying close to Zona G, actually that's a good place to find good restaurants. For example, just in front of the Four Seasons, you have Criterion, which is also one of the best restaurants of Bogota. You find more information on the list of good restaurants here on the blog on the homepage. The best time to visit Bogota. Bogota can be visited all year round, but I have to tell you, between Christmas and the 15th of January, there's not much going on because in Colombia, family life is very important, and shop owners, business owners, they try to send their people home to give them off that they can spend time with their family. So the 24th, 25th, 31st of December, the city is so quiet because nobody's here. Everybody who was able to go away left, and the rest of the people are spending with their family. There is no party, no restaurant. The city is literally dead. So that's not a good time to visit. But besides that, Bogota can be visited all over the year, and rain season, dry season, it doesn't matter because here in the mountains, the weather makes what it wants. The airport of Bogota, it's a very centralized airport because if you want to drive from the south to the north, usually you don't have direct flights, you pass over Bogota. But from Bogota, you can get everywhere, which is awesome. This is why I don't list you all the connections, because Bogota is connected with the whole country. Transportation in Bogota. Transportation can become quite difficult because traffic-wise, it's the worst country in the world. And people lose so much time because it's lacking infrastructure and lacking mass public transportation system. You have Transmilenio, those big red buses. It costs you like 2,400 pesos a passage. Peak hours, avoid it. It's terrible. The system is not capable of receiving such masses. Bogota is a city of over 10 million people. I recommend you taking a taxi on peak hours. Anyway, if you have some budget, organize yourself a car and a driver to get around the city. And Transmilenio, they're usually running. They start around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock in the evening. Be careful of pickpocketing, and also be aware there are blue and red seats. And the blue seats are actually reserved for elderly people or people, pregnant women, or so you have to give the seat if somebody asks you for it. That's it. That's my Bogota travel guide for you. If you need the links and further information, you will find detailed information, and it's actually a working document, so we'll update it all the time. Just go to your search engine and search for Pelecanos Bogota Travel Guide, and then you'll find it. If you want to see more information, or you think something could be improved or something is missing, I'm more than happy to add it. Just write it down in the comments or in the blog in the comment section. And that's it. Thank you for watching the video. Give me a like if you like the information, if it's useful. Also subscribe our channel, hit the bell that you don't miss further videos in the future. And I hope to see you soon here in Colombia, or at least back here on my channel. I wish you all the best from Bogota. Yours, Colombiafrank.